Every escape from North Korea is remarkable. But Mr. Kim took a stomach-churning risk. With the borders sealed because of the pandemic, he fled by sea with his entire family on board this ship. His wife pregnant, his brother's young children hidden below the deck.
We put the children to sleep with sleeping pills and hid them in grain sacks. I was almost paralyzed by fear. I knew my entire family could be executed if I made one mistake. The boat was very loud, but all I could hear was my heartbeat.
The family crossed into South Korean waters undetected and were rescued by the Navy. With defections now at a trickle, they'd pulled off the seemingly impossible. This is the sea between North and South Korea, where Mr. Kim's family crossed. It is so unusual for escapees to come this way directly to South Korea. Most go through China, meaning Mr. Kim and his family are the first to have escaped this year and made it here. And so their testimony is so important because it's some of the most up-to-date information we have about what's happening in the country. The border closures have brought immense suffering, he told me. 2 farmers he knew starved to death as food prices soared, while the pandemic restrictions made life more desperate.
When there were cases of COVID, everyone would be locked up and the entire area sealed off. The people inside had little or nothing to eat. After they had starved for a while, the government would bring in truckloads of supplies to sell, so people would praise them. It's like starving your baby, then giving it a small amount so it would thank you. People started asking whether this was the state's plan to profit from the pandemic.
Now safely in Seoul, and these streets aren't as unfamiliar as they should be. Mr. Kim grew up watching South Korean television in secret. This, like for so many, was his source of enlightenment. But now he says the authorities are ruthlessly cracking down on anyone caught watching it.
People started calling the crackdown officials mosquitoes, like vampires sucking out our blood. They're ruthless. They'll shoot you, kill you, or send you to a labor camp. Last year, they publicly executed a 22-year-old man for listening to South Korean songs and sharing them with his friends. They said they were punishing him harshly to set the right precedent. Everyone is afraid.
In South Korea, the government has criticized its neighbor for violating its people's human rights. But with Pyongyang shunning diplomacy, there's little Seoul or anyone can do.
But as a human being, I feel very much helpless in some cases. But we have very limited tool. But that doesn't mean that we should be silenced. But we just keep raising these issues. We need, mobilize all those international public opinion.
This new freedom hasn't quenched Mr. Kim's fear. He worries about repercussions for speaking out. His baby daughter is only a month old. She gave Mr. Kim the final push to escape, to free her from what he calls a hellhole. Jean Mackenzie, BBC News, in Seoul.